Talk to me.
He says, today is the first, and at 10 I go. Today is my day to be the star of the show. There'll be lights and cameras and plenty of action. And old T. Rodgers will be the main attraction.
And you know something, brother T. Rodgers? That is the truth. I actually heard that the triple OG, the terminology of triple OG, was coined and framed after you.
My son. Lucky Rodgers, his name is Fakri. It means my father's thoughts. But he likes the term lucky because of the things that he went through. And now he has his own little film production company, which is Lucky Rodgers. But I want to play something for you.
Yes.
That I think is very appropriate. He says, when things went wrong, we blame mama.
Mm.
Then he turned around and he said, I'll never call you bitch. He said, thug life, and then tatted it. Is there a heaven for a G? And I go back, Darius, and I think about the moments that Pac and I stole. We shared it, but we actually stole it because when we were together, time stopped.
Yes.
I met Pac in Naptown. I was the keynote speaker. Listen, I was the keynote speaker for the Indiana Black Expo. I'm the man. I'm that guy.
H&IC.
Man. But I never really wore the hat of nigga. And that's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother conversation.
And I did the research on that, and I had to wonder why so many was opposed to it, but then so many embraced it. Another conversation.
Yes, Dad.
Go back, and I'm always surrounded by those who need a hand up as opposed to a handout. So I had one of the guys, a childhood friend, a Dino Love. And Dino always protected me, even when I didn't need protection. But Dino protected me.
Come on.
And we went to Indiana Black Expo. There was a substance abuse problem, and I took him there.
Wow.
But when you have an addiction, it overrode the love that he had for me.
Wow.
And dealing with that addiction. So I'm giving you backstory.
Yes, sir.
In a hotel room, Dino, all right, the show must go on. I've got to hit my mark. Dino comes down after I'm on stage, on the podium, captivating, just mesmerizing, seducing the crowd. My omnipotence and my brilliance, which I found out later was nothing but sapiosexual sex. Yeah, look that word up, sapiosexual. Look that. No, I'm not a homosexual. I have nothing against them. But look that word up.
Yes, sir.
The door opens, Dino comes in, and you know, I'm mean mug and I got my eye on him. You know you missed your mark. We'll deal with you later. Seconds later, the door opens again. And I'm demanding the crowd. One, and I'm surveying. The eyes are all eyes on him. Two eyes is gone, another, and the domino effect. In my pave, my pride, my hubris, my arrogance, my vanity, my ego. Who is greater than I?
You the keynote.
Couldn't see him.
Couldn't see him.
But he's making his way through the crowd, and as he's making his way, It's the magnetism. It's the hell with T. Rodgers.
The Pac energy.
Followed it. Followed it. Now you got my attention. So he's making his way around the room. He comes up, you know,
That's Tupac.
to the platform.
Come straight to you.
And I'm going to get it. I'm going to make an example out of whatever that is that has so rudely interrupted. How
Rude.
dare you? and then somebody couldn't hold it. Tupac!
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wow.
Wow. So now the hammer of Thor, the hammer of humbleness is busting me in my head. Well, clearly I'm not as great as I thought I was. Pac comes up, there's nothing I can do.
Yes.
I set my ass down.
Yes.
Seriously, I just set my ass down.
Wow.
Pac
This is your first time meeting.
first time meeting. He embraced the crowd, and somebody else after he spoke, they didn't want to hear me. I don't rap.
not true.
I don't rap.
We got it from you.
It was a humbling situation that checked my arrogance, my vanity. I loved it. I loved it.
Yes.
So now, shenanigans. Somebody else is trying to speak. Me and Pac is sitting back and clowning.
Now y'all boys. That quick. That's the charismatic part they talk about. Infectious, huh?
Addictive.
Addictive.
So they say when two black men are in perfect harmony together, God is present.
Amen.
The energy, the electricity between Pac and I, and what we did to the people that was held hostage in that room.
You know, there's footage on Pac at the Black Indian Expo, and it was one of his most powerful speeches. And you can see in his veins, and you can see in his voices, and they asked him to not cuss, and he says, it's no worse than what's really going on out here. And to know that you were there, I now understand why he made such a piercing impact and performance with his words and posture and poise.
Those who know don't tell, and those who tell don't know. And I wish I had permission from Pac to share with you the conversation that we had, because it was life-altering and changing on both sides.
Amen.
I will say this. This was after the shooting that Pac, okay, that you and I talked about.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that. And we're going back and forth, and I'm taking my position with him. Hey, I'm mentoring, and I'm really taking my position.
Yes, sir.
You may be Pac, but you don't know what I know.
Come on.
Let's calm it down.
Yes, sir.
Let me dip you. Let me lace you.
Yes.
He calmed down just a little bit. And just in that breath, I surrendered everything that I had. All the power that I have, especially over two neighborhoods, belongs to you. Right then and there. I didn't know that they were going to do California Love. And
Now, this is my next thing, because you being someone that, not knowing Pac, this is very interesting. Pac had a mission and a go outside of music, and it was the code of the streets. It was to organize the communities. It was to have youth football leagues, to have concerts that raise money and awareness. And this is what you do.
Yeah.
But yet you did not know. To everybody, I want you to know who we sitting here with. This is the original T. Rodgers. I grew up with Mr. Rodgers at 7 years old in a program called American with Jim Brown, who introduced me to him. And I witnessed some of the strongest men in our communities as leaders come together to be mentored and guided by the original, who we call the Triple OG in our community. And he has founded so many different organizations and so many different community projects that we thought it was only right to get him on the Truth About Tupac movement and the 2Pac Shakur channel live here at YouTube LA. T, I want to thank you for that story of the Indiana Expo. But before we get into how several videos were shot in your neighborhoods, before we get into the story about Pac, let's get into your story. Let's get into the different organizations that you've been a part of for so many years. Sidewalk University. You have so many things you founded. The Warrior Project. The new pledge that's challenging the bucket water. I mean, even before we get to the current things, I want to take all of the fans of the Truth About Tupac back and give them a little history lesson. Is that all right, Dad?
Good. To do it properly, I don't have to be here, okay? Really, seriously, I don't have to be here. I have to give homage and pay homage and respect to the ancestors before me. I have to give respect and homage to those who paved the way before me. That's first and foremost. And you gave me such an accolade and intro. I've done none of that without the universe, without God.
Amen.
So, I mean,
Wow.
keep that 100. And that in itself is truly what is gangster. So we talk about what is gangster. That's not gangster. You know what I mean? How hard is it for you to kill a man? But as opposed to how hard it is for you to save a life. More importantly, do you even know how to save a life? No, you don't. But you think you're a gangster. The things that I started, and this really isn't about me,
Yes, I know.
Darius.
I know.
It's about Pac, and we can do me later.
Yes.
My mind, my heart, my spirit, I hope you don't get mad at me, is with Pac, is with Pac's mama. It's with the grief that I have that I've never released and grieved over Pac, or even little Malcolm X's grandson.
Yeah.
These are the people that came behind me, that watched me, like you at 7. You watched me. Who the hell am I?
You know, I must give you that testimony and let you know what I have seen, because you have gave me an example, not just words. You have lived the word, and you have been an example of what it is to be OG, original. We all start from nothing to make something. We all have negative, challenging trials, tribulations, but to turn the negative into positive and to be a living example and to go back and to help hold the hands of those that are in hell to get them to heaven is a remarkable living legend legacy. And this is why Asher Underwood, Layla Steinberg, and the founders of the Truth About Tupac had to absolutely have the only T. Rodgers here to tell us the truth of what those eyes have witnessed over the years.
You talk about sacrifice. You talk about leadership. I mean, not no false leadership or a stain or title or rank, because you don't know what it is. Now, number one, how can you lead and you've never been led before? How can you say that you're free? You've never been free before. So in the fight and the quest for freedom, in the fight for a greater quality of life, I didn't choose the mission. The mission chose me. So in that, I'm going to give it to you because you asked for it. How many times do people ask me, how you doing? How do you feel? Is there anything you want? Is there anything you need? How many times have people said to me, are you all right? Because I'm super blood. I'm Superman. I'm the unofficial mayor.
Yes.
I don't get sick. I don't cry. I don't laugh. I don't lie. I don't love.
Wow.
So Am I stupid or just naive if I continue to believe that I'm going to get a slice of the American dream? Well, I hardly think so. Because it's not the American dream, but with me, it's completion and balance. The karma.
Cause and effect.
The karma.
The karma.
The balance of the universe. When I was 16, you got 3 wishes. What do you want? I want wisdom. Why do you want wisdom? Because if I have wisdom, then I've got the knowledge and the wisdom to get infinite wishes. So the person asked me that went, well, Jesus, I never thought about that, T. Well, you asked me a question. What I didn't know what I asked the universe for were your problems,
Yes.
his problems, her problems, her mother's problems, her father's problems, the community problems. And I went, I asked for wisdom, I didn't ask for problems. The equation, in solving problems, I got wisdom.
Yes. Look at that.
So be careful what you ask for, what you ask the universe for, what you ask your God for,
Yes.
what you pray for,
Yes.
because it heals you. It will give it to you, not when you want it, but when you
you're ready.
need it.
When you need it.
When you need it.
And you know, you said something that is very profound because you talked about sacrifice. And leaders are not breeded, they're born. They are not made, they just exist. They form out of the struggle, they form out of the essence. And I always tell people, life is about the journey, not the destination. And in the journey of T. Rodgers, in the journey of sacrificing, you mentioned no love. You mentioned not getting sick. You mentioned being readily available for others
All the time.
all the time.
On call.
This is why the triple OG and the term gangster is not negative. It has been, we have killed it, we have destroyed it. It has no life because all that I see here and all that I know from 7 years old is a man that is willing to protect. And I want to now go back into why the actual brims and the bloods were formed. It was out of protection. They don't know this.
So many things run through my mind when I just want to slow down for a second.
It's all right, Dad.
OG is a falsified term. That OG transcends back to our ancestors in Africa, which is original griot. And a griot is a storyteller. Gangster is a word that comes out of being in a gang. That's where it comes from. There are 3 things in a gang: cowards, kids, and homosexuals. 75% of California prisons yards population is SNY, special needs yards. That transfers into protective custody, which transfers into homosexuality. Now, the traditional gangs have nothing on the new homosexual gangs because they have to be more vicious than the traditional gangs to keep them up off of them. I wasn't supposed to tell you that, was I?
Oh, yes, sir.
So when we go into those terms that are slung around and passed off and handed and slapped and pasted, that's what we're dealing with.
A false perception.
And it's nothing but perception. Because I can put up things on the internet that are, I can put up a photo shoot.
Yes.
They can take the photo shoot and shop it or take the original picture and put a caption up under it, which is a false caption, but those who may sit in a box, it is law enforcement perception of what I am to taint them because they don't know me. Now, if a man at 16 can control 2 neighborhoods, 5 schools, high schools, not the feeder schools, but control them to 5 city parks, can call a nation meeting where there are 500 youngsters that backed up one police station, then the other police station, and had 2 helicopters. So now we talk again, sacrifice, but the organizational skills are off the Richter scale. And it comes from one thing, because everybody wants to be a leader. But how many of you have compassion? How many of you are your brother's keeper? How many of you will say, no, you cannot sex that girl in to make her a criplet or a bloodette or whatever you want to make her, because she is the queen and the mother of the civilization. A race or a nation can rise no higher of their women. So why are you sitting there saying, that's my bitch?
You talked about that. There were several things you wanted to cover when I go into the notes. You talked about thug life. How the word thug was never intended to be negative, only positive. How do you feel about that? Just like the OG you just taught us.
You know, people don't read. I mean, some people got multi-million dollars, considered the champ, and can't read.
Yeah.
So when someone gives, oh, Darius, you're an actor.
Yeah.
Somebody will give you FU money, all right? And you buy a pair of Newports and Puma sweats, or maybe Jordans. We'll talk about that later, too.
Yes, Michael Jordans. I was just talking about that. I got a pair on myself, and I bought these based off of the fact that I was young at the time when they came out, and I could afford them.
And so was Pac when he mentioned them in his raps,
Yes.
because they dope. I saved up for Jordans because they dope. But then when Jordan, who is a multi-millionaire,
Billionaire.
will not take a picture with a rapper,
Or do a community organized panel or meeting or discussion like go to Ferguson. That's when I asked myself, was that a right investment, Darius? Is that the right message you promote? And I just said that to a young brother out here
30
today,
million a year. So, but what did Nike make? So does that mean that Michael got to his prominence by playing with balls? So now I take my kid. Well, how do we get off subject? But I take my kids.
It's on subject. It's on subject.
I take my kids.
Come on.
to go see Michael and Magic and them play. I'll
Yeah.
tell you a story about Magic too.
Yes,
But
sir.
I take the kids to go see Michael play. Michael's got his back turned to the bus. I'm getting ready to come on the bus. The bus driver said, Mike, there's some kids here to see you. Mike say, F them kids, tell them to buy my shoes. It's a wrap. My children hate me because I will not buy Jordans. So it doesn't matter how much, and that was my point, it doesn't matter how much money you are a trained actor from birth. One more time, a trained actor. You have been trained not only in the arts, but you've been trained to be successful.
By
Okay.
Magic Johnson,
Okay?
who was a business manager and a mentor like Jim Brown, like you as a kid.
Not arguing that. A story about Magic is coming up. Stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
I built his theater.
That's where I know as a fact. The reason why when Magic was managing me, he had to go in the community, and before he got permission, whether he had the money, whether he had the construction crew or team, he had to go ask certain people. They may not know it, but I know who that individual is, and that's why it's such an honor to be sitting here with you, Dad. So many different things to the community as a young man that I was able to succeed and be this actor that you see today.